With qualifying over and the race about to begin, we have Jeffrey Lawler in P1, Leon Flukiger in P2, Eugenio Villarreal P3, Marcus Keller P4, Ethan Turner P5, Harry Krantz P6, Jasper Van Grothes P7, Philip Allen P8, Pablo Valenzuela P9, Willie Atkinson P10, Mario Diavolo P11, Alec Hinchcliffe P12. And that's not all of them, but the other one isn't showing at the current moment, so let's see what I can do about that. There we go. And we have Samuel Ray in P13, and finally Willis Gomez in P14. And as the drivers are getting gridded up, we're getting ready for a race here at Hockenheim. So, as the lights are about to go out, let's get in touch with our drivers and see how this goes. We're going to be on board with our P1 currently, which is Jeffrey Lawler. And as we get the 5 lights going...
Green flag, green flag.
And our drivers set to go. Here they go off the line. And there is carnage off the start. And that looks like Harry Krantz is involved in a major accident. And that's Lawler actually going off as well and getting damaged right off the line. Oh my lord, this is turning into a crazy, crazy start here. Ethan Turner is now the leader of this race. As we're following along with him, there appears to be massive damage for numerous drivers on the grid. Harry Krantz, Valenzuela, Flukiger, and this race has turned upside down. Grothes as well is in the pits. Allen is out, Diavolo's out, Full is out, and there was just carnage back there off the rip. And let's see if we can go back and see what happened there. If you'll bear with me for just 1 second. I am a new broadcaster. I was on the grid at the very beginning of this, of this league. So let's follow along with Harry Krantz here and let's see what we can kind of see. And as we rewind all the way back. Okay, so let's play this in slow-mo as we take a look at Harry Krantz now. Get off the line. Someone doesn't get off the line there. It looks like that might have been Flukiger, really slow off the line, which causes a huge pileup. Krantz hits the back of Flukiger's car and just tumbles as well, and that looks like that might have been Philip Allen. Oh my lord. And yeah, that just looked like, Flukiger didn't get off the line. Super unfortunate for him. But let's follow along with, the race again. And Ethan Turner is still in P1. Marcus Keller right behind him. Eugenio got away well, still in P3, so that's great. Alec Hinchcliffe in 4th place. So let's follow along again with Ethan Turner here. Marcus Keller's got Eugenio behind him for company. And these are really close gaps here. The field is pretty spread out after that incident. So, hopefully all those people involved in that incident get themselves up the grid. And it looks like Aaron Full is fully out of this race. Unfortunate start for him. I think this was maybe one of his first starts. We got a little bit of debris there in the 3rd sector of the track. But, following along with Keller, it looks like the DRS is going to be enabled this lap. But he is just out of the detection zones. He started on hards actually, so it looks like he might be going with a hard medium or even hard soft strategy to the end of this race. There are 51 laps. I didn't get to touch on that, but just with all the carnage in the beginning here, it was pretty wild. So, we're in for a pretty crazy race here. You got a lot of people on different strategies. You see Keller there on the hards. Villarreal behind him looks to be on those mediums. And looks like Turner is also on those on those mediums as well. As he does get very close into that hairpin, he's now within DRS range, but there are no DRS zones on here until the very start of the grid here. So as we follow along with Keller, still following very close behind, it looks like all the people who were involved in the damage, at the start of the lap, or start of the race, are now exiting the pits. So this should get very interesting very soon. Now as Keller falls a little bit behind, you have the Eugenio closing up as well. It looks like Eugenio is going to get the benefit of the DRS. No, it looks like he isn't. So he is fallen 1 second behind, actually 9/10 now. But Villarreal does get the DRS at this part of the track, and he is on hards, actually. I thought he was going to be on mediums, but I was mistaken, folks. As we go around the Parabolica, Villarreal does get the benefit of the DRS down here and hopefully gets a little bit of a slipstream on Keller here. So the drivers do have open setups for this race. It used to be a fixed setup league, but we moved over to open setups. So the drivers are going to have, you know, different trims on these cars. I know some people have opted for less downforce to just, you know, get the benefit on those straights and long sections of DRS. As Villarreal does go a little bit wide and squirrely on there, riding those curbs, upsets the car a little bit, but he is still very close behind Keller in front of him. And this is a very interesting battle. I expect this to fire up very, very soon. And with the open setups as well, you do get the option to actually have the different modes for DRS too. So you can choose to build, and you can choose to deploy on attack mode as well, just to get a little bit of extra power. As we get down the main straight here, we are going to come up to the first DRS zone. As we look at Villarreal here, he is 6/10 behind and has that DRS wide open. We're looking at the speed differential here. Villarreal's coming at him with a 5/10 gap right now, hitting about 309 kilometers an hour. Marcus Keller is at 295. So as we see him closing in into the hairpin here, looks like Villarreal's trying to go down the inside, decides against it, gives a little nudge toward the back of Keller's rear right wheel there. Hopefully Eugenio doesn't have a little bit of damage there. It looks like he does have a little bit of scuffs on that front wing. Keller goes wide, trying to make his way through some back markers here. Does well to do so, and that gap has extended just a little bit. Villarreal is still very close, but he is out of DRS range. Still a lot of gravel on that part of the track there, so that is a very interesting turn too. If you go a little bit wide and cut in, you know, you can lose the rears just a little bit, so drivers are going to have to be careful on that part of the track. Jeffrey Lawler, despite the carnage at the start of this race, seems to be on the lead lap now, and he looks like he is very close behind Samuel Justin Reyes. He does get that DRS open and makes the move into turn 2. Interestingly enough, it looks like Lawler has opted for the softs. I'm not sure whether he actually went into the pit, but I'll have to check after. The softs should hold up pretty well. He might be going for a soft-medium strategy here, or maybe even soft-medium-soft, depending on how his pace goes, but it looks like he's going to try to use those softs to the full advantage, get his way up the grid. He's already in P5, 9 seconds away from Alec Hinchcliffe, 11 seconds away from Alec Hinchcliffe, so he is going to make his way down the field very soon. We expect some great pace from him, so excited to see how this unfolds. It looks like Villarreal went into the pit lane. He might have a little bit of front wing damage, but it looks like Alec Hinchcliffe gets ahead of him. So Villarreal, when he comes out of the pits, might actually be in contention here with Jeffrey Lawler, as Jeffrey Lawler is making his way down the straight right now into P1, and Villarreal drops into P5 at the moment. Now P6. And Harry Krantz is rounding his way around the final corners of this track, but Villarreal looks to still maybe be in the pit, so he might actually drop down to P7 now. And he does. P8 for Villarreal, so he might have had some damage, or he might have had some, some sort of penalty, stop, go. Not exactly sure, but we'll have to check again. But you see Villarreal coming out of the pit now, and he's about maybe a minute behind the leaders here, so the field is very spread out at this current point of the race, but we're in for some exciting action nevertheless. So we see Krantz making his way through the hairpin, and he is on the hards as well, so we expect that Krantz is going to go long. Unsure whether he's going to pit for softs later on, but we'll have to see how the pace goes and how far he is from the leaders. So at the current moment, we have Ethan Turner currently running in P1, Marcus Keller in P2, Alec Hinchcliffe in P3. So this is a great opportunity for Hinchcliffe to, hold Lawler at bay here. If we take a look at him, he's running on the mediums right now, so he does have the tire advantage on Lawler, but Lawler is catching very quickly. That gap dropped down to 8 seconds now. So we'll see how this battle unfolds. Ethan Turner doing very well to keep that gap with Marcus Keller there. He's about 3.5 seconds now. He was lapping about a second quicker than Keller behind him. And we do see that gap between P3 and P4, which is Alec Hinchcliffe and Jeffrey Lawler, reducing ever so slightly. Lawler now within the 7-second range of Hinchcliffe, but it's only a matter of time until those tires start to fall off, and Hinchcliffe might have a little bit more of a benefit. At this point of the race as well, with Turner with a massive gap here, he's just going to have to manage those tires, and he might be able to, execute just the perfect pit strategy here. So it might work to his advantage. He seems to be gaining a lot of momentum and especially building that gap up in this third sector here. So doing really well on those tires as long as he keeps it up. Tries to avoid that gravel, he should be fine. Keller on the hards is matching the pace of Turner, though, as he was just 1/10 of a second off that lap. Hinchcliffe down in the 1:14.9s, and Lawler is catching pretty quickly. He is lapping currently 1:13.4s, so he is catching, and we expect to see him catch Hinchcliffe in the next 5-6 laps. So we'll get ready for a great battle there, as it looks like that's a black flag for Harry Cron, so he has a time penalty as he goes into the pits to serve his drive-through. The gap between P1 and P2 has extended to 4.1 seconds, and although those hards do last a lot longer than those mediums, it looks like Keller might be struggling a bit in Sector 3. So if, we get an interview with him, we'll definitely ask him about that in the early stages of the race. I haven't driven this track on the hards. I've tried the mediums. They seem to be a pretty good tire, but I didn't get a good sense of the wear. But, with the hards, it is harder to light up and get them to the right temps, so I can imagine it could be a little squirrely in some parts of the track here, as we do see that gap between Lawler and Hinchcliffe drop down to 4 seconds, 3 seconds now, so we are going to see a battle between them very, very soon. And as we check up on Alec Hinchcliffe, currently in P3, he's trying to keep Jeffrey Lawler at bay, and the gap is now 2 seconds between them. So this battle is going to unfold before our eyes here. So we do see Hinchcliffe going through that first turn here. He's on the mediums. Lawler, again, is on the softs. So Lawler is catching Hinchcliffe very, very quickly. We see Hinchcliffe round Parabolica. We see Lawler just chasing him right behind, so he's down to about 1.6 seconds behind Hinchcliffe right now, and he might have the benefit of DRS next lap. We'll see if Hinchcliffe tries any defensive maneuvers. He goes a little bit wide there, misses the apex on that hairpin, but he's opting to keep his tires alive to execute that pit strategy, and I'm assuming he's going to go for likely the medium softs, but we'll see how that unfolds. As Hinchcliffe goes a little bit squirrely through there. Again, that's just an off-camber corner. It gets very, very slippery around there, so drivers are going to have to watch out for that as their tires degrade. You see Hinchcliffe going wide into the gravel, which allows Lawler to get up right to him and take the position. So Lawler is now in P3, 18 seconds from the leader, and he's making his way up and charging down the field. So unfortunately, Hinchcliffe got into the gravel there, which led Lawler to take that place, but Lawler was likely going to have the benefit of DRS for this lap as well, so he was excited to see a battle, but, you know, I think Hinchcliffe is just minding his own race and watching those tires and making sure he gets to the end and extracts as much as he can out of them. Villarreal is also making his way back up the grid. He went down to about P9 and made his way up to P6, so great on him. He's now just one lap behind, lead lap here, I think. So, he got past Gomez in the last few laps. So see if I can pull it up a little bit later, but great job for him. And our drivers are spread out a little bit here at the moment. But, that's just how this track goes sometimes, especially with the carnage at the beginning. And honestly, I'm just glad to see a majority of the drivers, just still out on track here. It looks like we may have lost Harry Krantz, Leon Flukeiger, and Aaron Full. Super unfortunate, but, great to see a majority of these drivers still on the field here. We see Mario Diavolo currently on track right now, running the hards. Might be trying to run these until the end of the race. And we have Jasper Van Grothes behind him, slowly catching up. About 4 seconds behind. He was 6 seconds behind last lap, so we might have a battle unfolding here very, very soon. Diavolo going a little bit wide into that hairpin. Trying to get the traction down, especially out of that hairpin. It is a very tight one. And, when you do try to get the power down, I do find it helpful to upshift. But then again, I'm not the fastest driver on this grid, so very curious to see how one of the other drivers definitely take that turn. And as we look on board, Phillip Allen, he's running 1:14.8, so he has some great pace on these medium tires here. He started in P8, went down to P9 after a little bit of that carnage. So glad to see that he's, remaining in the same range of positions that he was before. I think if he can, make it on those mediums till toward the end of the race and swap potentially to the sauce, he might find some pace and potentially take that P8 back. And it looks like in the battle of the lead, Marcus Keller does take P1 as he gets the overtake on Ethan Turner. Looks like those hards are paying dividends, and he has the lead position for this race. But Ethan Turner is still very close behind him. He might get the benefit of DRS too. We've seen Ethan Turner be really quick around Sector 3 of this track. So let's see if he can still fend off Turner here as we do get closer. That gap is down to 0.4 of a second now. And Ethan Turner is going to get DRS on this lap here. So let's follow closely and let's see how this battle unfolds. So we get down towards turn 1 here. We see that gap slowly drifting down. Looks like Turner might be running a low downforce setup here as he does get that DRS wide open. The gap is now very close here, but he is going to wait, and that's a smart move because he is going to get DRS down Parabolica as he goes wide into turn 3 there just to set up for Parabolica here and get as close as possible to Marcus Keller. And Keller is on the defense now. That gap is decreasing very rapidly as we do see Ethan Turner go down the inside of the hairpin here, takes the inside line, goes wide, and there's the old switcheroo there, and Keller keeps his position. Very good defensive maneuver by Keller. He just let Turner go by. I knew that might be happening, especially with how tight that hairpin is, and he played his cards perfectly there. But I don't think Turner is going to give up quite yet. Those mediums still look like they have a lot of life in them. So let's follow this battle and let's see how this goes. Gap is still 0.7, so Ethan Turner is still very much in DRS range here. And he's going to get that DRS again. And again, he is so rapid through this Sector 3 right here that he is going to get the DRS for this lap as well. So as we follow along with Turner, let's see if we can pull up the dashboard here and let's see the speed differential between both of them. As he gets that DRS open again, almost hitting 300 kilometers into this sector. Takes it a little slow. Try to prioritize the exit on here and get the speed out of there. Gap is currently 0.6 now. Last time he had a run, I think he was about 0.5 behind. So look at Turner getting up into the 300s here. Keller's at 296, so that's a 10 kilometer per hour difference, but Ethan Turner is just still a little too far behind. He still has to manage those mediums. We're on lap 18 out of 51, and you can see he lights those rears right up trying to exit. So he might have to give him a little bit of a break, but stay enough in that DRS range so he still stays in contention. Lawler also approaching the two leaders here, 7.5 seconds behind. So he might come into the fray very, very soon. And Turner, again, very rapid through this sector here. Gains about 0.2 into that corner, into the entry there. And the gap is now 0.2 between them. So Keller might be struggling just a little bit in that final sector, which allows Ethan Turner to remain within DRS distance here. Let's get down towards turn 1. This looks like a very, very good position for Turner to be in. Still waiting behind, and he is going to take the inside line on Keller, and he takes the lead of this race. But Keller does the old switcheroo again? Maybe, but no. It looks like Turner does keep the position, but Keller now is going to get DRS as they go side by side into Parabolica here. Turner has the inside line, takes the racing line here into the hairpin, and he does remain in front of Keller, actually. And, no, that's Keller in front, actually. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. But this is great, great racing from both of them. You can see they're pushing those cars super, super hard. And, Turner is still keeping the gap very close between them. So this is super exciting to watch. Honestly, this is a great race between both of them giving each other, the amount of room they both deserve into these corners here. Very respectful. And as we see that gap again dwindling down by 0.2 here, Turner is still only 0.4 behind, and he is probably going to set up for, the DRS down the Parabolica. I think it's the most beneficial. overtaking into turn 2 might not be the best, but, you know, getting super close and prioritizing your exit is probably going to be the play here. We do see him still following very close behind Keller here. Gap is now 6/10. It might be a little bit too far back for a lunge here. We see that DRS open. If he has any deployment on his ERS too, it might be of benefit to him as that gap is closing rapidly again, but it looks like he just has to stay behind Keller for this time being. Does well to keep the rears from spinning out there, so he's definitely trying to manage his tires while on the attack, and that is not an easy feat. You're just, you know, going to want to get on the throttle as soon as possible to not get at DRS range and just stay within that 1 second gap. So kudos to him for, you know, keeping those tires alive. And I figure that these tires are probably going to try to go for the 40 lap mark. Still within 5/10 of a second here, and he is closing that gap ever so slightly. Only 2/10 away now. So Keller is trying to keep Turner at bay here and keep those tires alive. Both of them, their tires are probably screaming in pain, both of them, honestly. Get down towards turn 2 here. We do see Turner with the DRS, stays behind, which is the smartest playthrough here. As we get around to Parabolica, he is a lot closer now. That gap is now 2/10 of a second. He opens his DRS just a little bit late, so I wonder if that is going to cost him into the hairpin here. He tries to pull down to the inside. Let's see if he can get the car broken down just quick enough, and it looks like he does, but sacrifices on his exit. Both of them are going side by side now into here. Turner in P1 right now, but now Keller has the inside line and takes P1 still and remains in the lead. Going down through here, and it looks like Turner just has to back off as the space was just running out, but still within 3/10, and this is a very exciting battle between the both of them. I am sorry if there's anything going on anywhere else, but this is just nuts. Both of them have been playing their cards so well here, and that is someone in the gravel there. And it looks like that's, I think that's Jasper Van Grothes, actually. But we'll have to check on that just a little bit later, because this battle is just way too thrilling. 2/10 is the gap now between them, but Lawler is catching quick. He was 7.5 seconds before, but you see him right at the back there in that white W12. He's 3.3 seconds behind, currently lapping 1:13.7, still on those softs, I'm pretty sure, too. So those softs have not started degrading for him. He's still very rapid around this track, as Turner is now only 4/10 behind, 3/10, 2/10. And as he tries to get the job done into the hairpin again, let's see if we can get the car slowed down just enough. But again, Keller takes that inside line, plays defensive, and plays his cards so well. He knows that switcheroo is going to happen every time, so he is playing this game very well. If Turner wants to take P1, I think he does have to take the racing line there and get as close as he can through the Parabolica and make the move into Parabolica. So we'll see if he can make that work, but, you know, Lawler is coming into the fray here, which might complicate things just a little bit. Turner was leading for a majority of this race. Keller is leading now, and this is a thrilling battle, guys. Gap is now 5/10 of a second. I imagine that Turner might be, you know, backing off just a little bit just to, you know, save some of those tires. He's still within the DRS range, which is exactly what he has to do. And, you know, he's doing a fantastic job of it. These turns are looking great. He's prioritizing his exits, still keeping the car within that range, and, you know, just keeping the pressure on Keller. But Keller is doing a spectacular job, you know, dealing with all this pressure here. And Gomez inherits P7 as Samuel Ray goes into the pits. Turner is still keeping those tires alive, doing really well on that exit. You know, car staying super stable, so that setup is working for him. And I suspect it's a low downforce setup. Personally, I run medium through here because I can't turn the car otherwise. But no, this is great racing between the both of them. And now that gap to P3 is 2.3 seconds. So I'm going to catch a breath here, and let's see how this battle unfolds. Those tires are starting to fall away from Turner just a little bit now. He got a little squirrely on those last two exits there, which allowed Lawler to catch up to him. But most importantly, he is now out of DRS range, so that gives Keller a little bit of breathing room. The gap is now 1.1, so he is not going to get DRS down the Parabolica at this point. But Lawler is going to get DRS on Turner here, as we do see that DRS open wide for Lawler here. He's barreling down at 315 kilometers an hour. Into here, it looks like Lawler is going to actually make the move down into the hairpin. There's almost contact between them, and again, Turner does the switcheroo on Lawler, so does well to defend against him. I thought they were going to collide, but great job to both of them for not, having any sort of damage there. But that was some great stuff. Turner knew exactly what he had to do. He's seen that move many times before. He's still dealing with it, so, Lawler's going to of course, fight back as hard as he can, and but I don't think Turner is going to make this very easy on him. All the while they are fighting, Marcus Keller is still building that gap a little bit more. The gap is now 1.4 seconds, but Lawler is on the back of Turner's gearbox here. As we get down to turn one, Lawler is going to get that DRS. And I think Turner is going to anticipate this and Lawler does try to make a move there. He might have just tried to fake him out, but it looks like that front left on Lawler's car is very, 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 very worn here, as we do see Lawler make the move into Parabolica. I think that would have been, Turner's best option against the fight with Marcus Keller, but Lawler is now in P2. And Ethan Turner P3. Marcus Keller still leading with a 1.6 second gap. Let's see if he can hang on to it. Those softs look like they're degrading pretty quickly here, and if we can get a camera view on that front left tire, we'll see how bad they're kind of looking here. So we look at the left front suspension here. Ooh, slow this down just a tad. Oh, that's fully paused now. Okay, never mind. Oh my. Yeah, it looks like those front lefts are just completely worn, so. But despite the fact, Lawler is still doing absolutely amazing at keeping these tires alive and extracting all the performance he can out of them. Hitting 114.1s. Keller is still in the 114.6s, so he's, within the ballpark. Turner, I think those tires are looking, pretty worn right about now. The gap is now 3.5 seconds between him and Lawler. So, great job to Ethan Turner. Great job to Marcus Keller. That was a super thrilling battle. Honestly, well played to both of them. Keller was spectacular defending, but, Turner was just putting the pressure on him. And that's just what you love to see in this. So, super close racing, super, respectful racing. So, hats off to them. And as we look toward our leader now, the gap is now 5/10 as Lawler is making the charge. 6/10 quicker per lap, Lawler is than Keller. So Keller is under massive pressure here. It looks like Lawler is closing in. He might try to get the move done right before the Parabolica, right into the Parabolica as he's done before. And with that DRS open, he is only 3/10 behind. The gap is now 2/10. But it looks like he might have to make his move into the hairpin as he takes the inside line here. Keller on the outside again. We've seen this time and time again. Keller gets super close, but Lawler just makes the corner, and Keller has to stick behind. So the new leader of this race is Jeffrey Lawler. Started in P1, got into a little bit of an incident, and fought his way up the grid. So massive kudos to him. Great job, all in all. And he has now de facto P1. In terms of his tire strategy, I'm very curious to see what he's going to do. He's likely going to have the benefit of going to those mediums and running them long. I think a lot of the medium drivers out there currently on that tire are, doing pretty well. It seemed like they got a lot of life, but yeah, these softs look pretty battered at this point. Keller's tires are looking pretty great, honestly. I think he can probably go toward the end, but you do see a little bit of a drop-off there as he's hitting the 115s. He was in the 114s a little bit earlier, so curious to see how that turns out toward the end of the race. We are approaching pit window very, very soon for a lot of these drivers. Not sure if any of the drivers actually went onto the hards after their incidents and are just running them to the end of the race. So we'll have to see how that goes. And as we catch up with some of our other drivers on the grid here, we have Samuel Ray catching up to Willies Gomez as well. So this is going to be a pretty interesting battle here too in a few laps time. I think Gomez got past Ray while he was in the pits. So Ray has swapped to the hard. So he's going to go long on these and he's going to finish the race on that tire compound. He's about 2 seconds behind now. So we imagine, it's about 2 seconds behind now. So we imagine that race or that battle is going to be unfolding pretty soon here. And as we go across our drivers, we're looking at Willies Gomez right now. So Gomez started in P14. He made up 7 places, so that's a tremendous result for him at the current moment. He's on the medium, so I don't think he's pit yet. But when he does, I think he'll have to, go on either the mediums. Actually, no, he'll have to go on the softs or the hards. I imagine he's trying to run those tires long and go for the softs. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see him charge his way through the field and gain back some places toward the end of the race here. Pablo Valenzuela made up 3 places as he started in P9 before. He's currently on the hards, so he might be going long on those. Unfortunately, I don't know what tire everyone started on. It's probably something that I'll pick up in the future, but, first time around, not too bad. Hopefully you're enjoying. We'll see how the rest of the race kind of pans out here. As we do see a move from Samuel Justin Ray on Willies Gomez. So Ray is back up into 7th position here, so he's gained 6 places. He started in 13th before. He is now currently in P7 as he made a move on Gomez. And let's see if we can find, a little bit of a replay on that. And unfortunately, I am still learning a lot of these controls here, so you'll have to, pay no mind to me as I kind of do this the old school way. Just going to see some cars driving backwards. There's nothing wrong with that. But it looks like he just gets past him right here. So, it looks like Gomez just gave him the position. I'm not sure if he had maybe an issue or if he had a slowdown. That's good job for Ray there. Willie Atkinson in 9th position. He started in 10th, so he's gained a position since the start of this race. Not sure if he was caught up in the carnage, but, great stuff for him. Looks like Lawler has gone into the pits. And as we see, those softs are absolutely thrashed on the lefts there, so they're taking a beating through a lot of these corners. And he pits for softs, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going for... He might have started on mediums, so he might be doing medium, soft, soft. So he believes those softs can get him through 20 laps remaining in this race. So he's 14 seconds from Keller right now. Again, Keller is on those hards, so he does have the benefit of, swapping to softs or mediums, depending on how he wants to run his race. Looks like Turner may be pit as well. And if we look at Turner, he is on those softs, so he will be making a charge toward Alec Hinchcliffe, currently in P3. I don't think Hinchcliffe's pit yet. And nope, he's still running those mediums, so currently in P3. So this is a great result for Hinchcliffe. He's gained 9 places since the start of this race. So he started out in P12 up to P3. Podium is still very much in contention for him. He's running a solid race. And, if not podium, top 5 is still in the running. So great result for him. And with Lawler pitting when he did, we're going to be looking at Marcus Keller and seeing what he's thinking. So it seems that Lawler and Turner believe that the softs can make it that long. And as we've seen with Lawler, he's ran those softs for, I think, about 30 laps. So he extracted a lot of value from them. I think if Keller wants to pit now and, reduce the chance of, losing a little bit more time for Lawler. So that gap is already down to 12 seconds. It was 14 before. So Lawler is gaining massive pace with Keller. If Keller pits now and he gets onto those softs, he comes out maybe about 2 seconds, 3 seconds behind Lawler. I think the pit lane here is pretty small. It might still take about 20 seconds, but I think he would probably start to consider pitting very soon, if not this lap, maybe in the next 2-3. But that gap is going to drop significantly, and he's really going to have to watch out for Turner, who pit for those softs. I think that's going to be a direct battle between them, and as he passes the pit lane, he's not going to pit right now. I think, as this race goes on, maybe he's trying to get to about lap 40 with those tires. He's still running a great pace, 1:15.8, 1:15.0 actually. And he's going to be looking out for Ethan Turner, who's currently 25 seconds behind. But Lawler on those new softs is running 1:12.6s, so, that's a good 3 seconds, 2.4 quicker than Keller currently on those hards. So we'll see what pace Turner has as Hinchcliffe goes into the pits, so he's going to be coming up against Villarreal very soon. And Villarreal is currently on mediums. Unsure if these are new or old, but you see Hinchcliffe coming out of the pits now, so Villarreal is going to be pretty close behind Hinchcliffe very soon here. Yeah, about 4 seconds, so might be a little bit of a battle between them. 3 seconds. We'll see how this unfolds, but I think Hinchcliffe has the benefit of those newer tires, and he's going to retain that position. Villarreal and Valenzuela is likely going to be the, realistic battle here. Valenzuela about 30 seconds behind, so when Villarreal pits, he'll have about 8 seconds between them, and this is the great part about the end game of the races. When everyone starts diving into the pits, again, the strategy game comes into play. So we'll see how this unfolds. Keller is still lapping very well on those hard tires, 1:14.6s. But, Lawler is just banging out very, very rapid laps, 1:12.4. Turner is now 23 seconds behind Keller. Oh, and that's a spin right back there, and I'm not sure who that is. I think that was actually... not sure, actually. Truth be told. Pretty bad commentator. But, again, learning. And as we tune into the battle for P5, Valenzuela is catching Hinchcliffe pretty closely here. He's about 1.8 seconds behind. And Villarreal is currently lapping around the 1:14.3s, so we should see them close up pretty soon. But Hinchcliffe does have the benefit of those newer tires. The gap is now actually 2.1 seconds, maybe a little bit less. I tried to do the math in my head looking at these gaps, but you can see most of the difference. I shouldn't really count the decimals. Just go with the whole numbers. A lot easier that way. Yeah, 2 seconds is the gap between them. Villarreal is driving a superb race after the incident at the start there. It was super unfortunate. He qualified P3. And, I think he went down to about P10, but clawed his way back up to P5, so kudos to him. Hinchcliffe currently running 1:13.8s. Villarreal running 1:14 flat, so about equal pace here. Villarreal catching just slightly, about 2/10 off on Hinchcliffe here. But again, Hinchcliffe with those newer tires, he is going to have quite a big benefit here. And we'll see how that goes. And Valenzuela goes into the pit lane now. So if Villarreal has to pit, he may want to think about covering off Valenzuela. Not sure if these tires are new or not, but seems like they might be a little bit worn. He might be trying to get to the end of the race on here and just have that track position, but he does have enough of a gap between himself and Valenzuela. Valenzuela is currently about 40 seconds behind, still in the pits. I think the pit time around here is about 20-something seconds. Be good to find out. I don't know off the top of my head, but, you know, he's still in the pits, so good guess probably. And Valenzuela has taken a pretty long time in the pits there. I wonder if he has any damage that he's working on, but he comes out and he's on softs. So we'll get to see some pretty rapid pace from him. He's behind Ray right now, and Ray's about 10 seconds up the field, 11 seconds up the field. So toward the end of this race, we should see that gap start to come down very, very soon. And as we look toward our race leader, Marcus Keller now joins the pits, and Jeffrey Lawler is the race leader at this point in time. And as Keller goes into his pit box, pretty sure he's going to go on the softs here. And he does. So excited to see what his pace is. He's done a monumental job leading the race, and Turner comes out just ahead of him. So the undercut from Turner did work, but he does have older tires. So let's see what Keller can do to gain that back. They're about 2 seconds off each other right now, so you know, Turner's doing a great job managing his tires, but Keller is going to be on the attack here. So the roles are reversed now. Keller is going to have to attack. Turner is going to have to defend. He's seen how Turner drives. Likewise, Turner's seen how Keller drives, and especially defending into that hairpin is going to be a very crucial task for the both of them. So excited, very excited to see how this unfolds. As we catch up with Phillip Allen, he's on the softs now, and he's just about 2 seconds behind Willies Gomez. So this should be pretty interesting to see as well as they start going. And Mario Diavolo goes into the pits, so Willie Atkinson's currently in P10. Atkinson's on those soft tires, so he's made his pit stop. So that's perfect. And Diavolo just comes out of the pits now. So this is about to get pretty interesting, guys. The gap between the drivers is still about 2-3 seconds, so we got a battle for P2 going about 3 seconds behind each other, and a battle for P4 as well, just 2 seconds behind. So Villarreal's doing an excellent job keeping with Alec Hinchcliffe here, still within that 2-second zone. But Keller has dropped back just a little bit from Turner, so the gap was 2 seconds before. The gap's now extended to 3 seconds, and, you know, as we mentioned, Turner is just rapid in this final sector, so I think that's where he's gaining a lot of his time. So, you know, if Keller can, you know, tighten up the last sector here, I think he should be in the clear. But gap is now 2 seconds, going down a little bit. Turner is lapping 113.3s. Keller is lapping 113.5, so just a little bit off the pace from Turner here. But toward the end of the race, I expect to see Keller make a charge. And looks like Diavolo got a black flag, so he's likely going to have to serve a drive-through penalty, unfortunately for him. Started out in P11. He's still P11, so, great job holding there. Everyone looks to be on the softs, but it looks like if we turn back to our battle for P2 here, the gap has now dropped to about 1 second between Ethan Turner and Marcus Keller, so things are about to heat up pretty quick here as Keller is finding his groove on those softs. Hinchcliffe and Villarreal behind, still within that 2 second mark, and they're lapping super close together, so I'm excited to see how this turns out toward the end of the race. We have 11 laps remaining in this session. Anything can happen. P2 is still up for grabs, P4 is still up for grabs. And as we watch the last part of this race kind of unfold here, the next 2 tracks on the grid, which are the final 2 tracks of this season, are going to be Nürburgring GP layout and the Red Bull Ring. So you're definitely going to want to tune in for those next week. I'll actually have a live broadcast up. YouTube, I didn't know it gave you 24 hours to actually verify your account, so that was my bad. But hopefully by then, I'll be a little bit better of a broadcaster. Again, hope you're still enjoying, and we saw some chaos at the start of this race, and we've seen some great battles between Turner and Keller, so honestly, hats off to them. It made for a really thrilling broadcast watching them go at it, and it looks like that is Valenzuela getting past Ray, actually, while I was, talking and having a spiel here, but Valenzuela is currently now in P6, so that's 3 places up for him. He started in P9. Samuel Justin Ray, got up 6 places too, so he started down in P13. So this is a great result for him as well. He's been driving a fantastic race on those hards. He's going to make it to the end on those, and he is lapping very, very well. So hats off to both of them as well. We've seen some very, very close racing between a lot of these guys, and this is a very tough track. As we've seen with the tires of Jeffrey Lawler, I mean, the lefts just get absolutely punished here. And it's got a very interesting mix of, high speed and very low speed corners. This track honestly has it all. Honestly, it's in the shape of a boot too. So what more can you like? But it looks like that's Lawler getting past Ray. So yeah, Ray does a good job of, keeping out of the way of our current leader here. Lawler's still lapping in the 1:12.8, so that's super awesome for him. As we look towards Marcus Keller now, he is getting very, very close, almost within that 1 second mark. I don't think he's going to get DRS this time around. But in the next few laps, I suspect he absolutely will. Still 8 laps remaining in this race, as we do see Keller is 0.6 faster than Turner last lap. So things are heating up. He's still almost within that 1 second range. Isn't going to get the DRS on the... Oh, he does get the DRS on the parabolic at this point. And that's actually Gomez coming into the pits as well. I thought he was going to make it... Sorry, I'm mistaken. Ray was on the hards there. So Gomez is coming in. He was on those mediums. Likely going to switch to the softs here. So that might cost him... Or actually not. Atkinson is still 1 lap behind. So, this is basically a free stop for Gomez here just to, try to extract some pace out of those softs. But let's tune back into the battle for P2 right now with Ethan Turner and Marcus Keller. So Turner is onto the defense here. Again, these are the roles reversed. As we saw Keller defending against Turner before, doing an excellent job into that hairpin, taking the super defensive line here. But we know that Turner is very, very strong on this final sector here. Still proves it as he, increases that gap to almost 0.8 of a second. As we see them both go down. So Keller is going to get DRS on this lap. into turn 1 and in the parabolica. So let's see if he can make some moves as he gets very close here. Going a little bit wide into turn 2. As he crosses that detection zone, he is going to get DRS down here, and here we go. 3/10 is the gap between Keller and Turner. Turner is on the defensive now. Keller goes down the inside of the hairpin, makes the move happen. Turner does take the inside and tries to do the switcheroo, but he has to hang back. Those tires are a little bit older now, so Keller is now P2 in this race, and he's going to have to defend against Turner as Turner dives down the inside and regains P2. Excellent stuff. This is great between them. So Keller's going to have to be a little bit more patient and maybe, prioritize his exits right there, because Turner is on a charge with those softs. They still have some life in them. But Turner is going to try to have to manage those softs till the end of this race. He's got 6 laps left. That's a monumental effort to try to, defend this close. But again, as we do see, he is mighty in that final sector and extends that gap just a little bit more. The gap is now 2 seconds between P2, and this is gearing up to be super exciting for the end of this race. There's 6 laps left, and, Turner just cranked up the volume in that last lap, making the overtake into this part of the track. Just got the inside down and, just extended that gap into the 3rd sector. So I feel like Keller is going to be biding his time here, trying to regain a little bit of life in those tires. He was on the attack for quite some time, so he's probably going to let those tires cool down, as we do see the gap jumping down to about 1 second here. I expect he's just going to take it slow just for a little bit and try to make an attack probably around lap 48. Just coast with those tires for now and let them simmer down. But yeah, it's going to be a super exciting finish here, guys. I'm very excited to see how this goes. As we catch up to our battle for P4 right now, Hinchcliffe is doing a fantastic job defending against Villarreal too, but Villarreal on those mediums, I don't know how long he's been on those things, but the fact that the gap is only about 2 seconds now still, after all this time, is just awesome. Hinchcliffe is doing a mega job keeping those softs alive, but they are lapping around the same pace right now, so, if anything's going to happen, it's going to be toward the last, 2-3 laps of this race. So very excited to see how this unfolds as well. And the gap has decreased once again between our battle for P2 here, as we do see Keller getting the DRS down into turn 2. It looks like he's primed to try to make an attack into Parabolica. I think that's the best place to do it. That's where Lawler passed, both of these guys as well. He just had that massive speed advantage, and he gets the inside liner and he gets the racing line into the hairpin here, as we do see Keller trying to get there. And there's contact between them. Oh, no. That's tragic for Turner. It looks like, he tried to make a defensive move on the inside, and I think it just faked him out just a little bit. But, that is heartbreak for Turner. He just has to go back into the pits. But, that was great racing between them, and that's super unfortunate to see. But, Alec Hinchcliffe is probably jumping for joy right now. He's on the podium, guys. He's gone from P12 up into P3, so this is huge for him. And this is going to be enormous pressure because he got Villarreal right behind him as well. He's just been sticking there for 2 seconds every single time. So let's see if Hinchcliffe can just keep it together for about 3 more laps. And, let's see how that goes. But we'll take a look at the incident with Marcus Keller as well. And I just feel like that was, very unfortunate. I think, both of them are probably going to be a little bit sad with how that turned out because that was some great racing between them at the start. And again, it's still great racing, but I think it was just kind of a miscommunication and misunderstanding of what was happening here. So if we start to play this right here and we go down to quarter speed just to slow it down, it looks like Keller's going to take the inside. And that's just a little bit of a, late defensive move. I feel like that was probably into the braking zone and it caught Keller off guard. I could see what, Turner was trying to do there as well. And I just don't think he knew that he was that close. So super unfortunate between the both of them. And, Turner is, turned out to be, losing in this aspect. But other than that was great racing between these guys. And I hope they don't have, hard feelings toward each other. They did a fantastic job. But Turner's still in the pits at about 2 laps down now. So hopefully that doesn't put a damper in his race. He did a great job. Honestly, and he was rapid around this track, so I'm excited to see what he could do in the next couple of races, and hopefully everything works out between the two. But as of this point in the race, we have Jeffrey Lawler 27 seconds ahead, and we have Marcus Keller in P2 and Alec Hinchcliffe in P3, so this is great for Alec Hinchcliffe. Again, started in P12, currently in P3, so that's 9 places up. And Turner gets a black flag. I'm not sure what that black flag is for. But, this is just super unfortunate for him. Down in P8 right now. So, let's see how that turns out at the end of the race here. But we have 2 laps left, guys. And your top 5 are Jeffrey Lawler, Marcus Keller in P2, Alec Hinchcliffe in P3, Eugenio Bayer-Villarreal in P4, and Pablo Valenzuela in P5. And we are on the second last lap of this race, and we do see Hinchcliffe still in P3. 2 seconds behind him is Villarreal, and that's Hinchcliffe going into the gravel, which is going to cost him a little bit. But I think he still has the gap on Villarreal. And he should be able to make it until the end of the race with keeping his position. But Villarreal is going to see this as a huge opportunity now. So this is going to be mind games for Alec. I mean, he's under some enormous pressure right now. He's in a great position. He just has to keep it tidy for, one more lap here. And he should clinch it in the podium. But he is going to see Villarreal in his mirrors getting very much bigger. As a wise man once said, he was very small in my mirrors, and then he was very big. So now, Jeffrey Lawler is on the last lap of this race. As he crosses the start-finish and goes down into T2 right now, he is going to feel a tremendous weight off his shoulders as, last lap of the race. This was a very long 51-lap race around this track, very challenging. But he's done a fantastic job, especially given the circumstances, at the start of the race. Little incident there. He went off, I think, and he damaged the left side of his car, but, went into the pits. Excellent strategy. Made it out alive. Currently in P1. So this is great stuff. But Hinchcliffe and Villarreal are going at it. Currently about 1 second behind. But as we see Jeffrey Lawler getting into the last few corners of this track here, and this is going to be very, very close between Hinchcliffe and Villarreal too as they pass the line. Oh, and this is going to be crazy, but Jeffrey Lawler is approaching the penultimate corner of this track. Jeffrey Lawler is about to cross the line for his 11th win at Apex Hunter Motorsports as he has a celebratory kind of burnout, but great job to him. P1, that's 11 wins for him this season. Congrats to him. Marcus Keller is about to round his way around the last sector of this track as well. Hinchcliffe is under enormous pressure still, so this is very hard to honestly choose what I should be focusing on right now. But Keller approaches the penultimate corner as well, and he crosses the line at P2, so that is a great result for him. Congrats to Marcus Keller. As we tune in for a battle for P3 right now, the gap is unbelievably close. Hinchcliffe has done a great job defending against Villarreal. enormous pressure, and I think he is going to be sweating profusely as he goes off. And no, that is Villarreal who takes P3. Oh my lord. Alec Hinchcliffe just got a little bit offline there, and that's Eugenio Villarreal taking P3 from Alec Hinchcliffe, and that is unbelievable. Great job from Villarreal. He put the pressure on. That's P3 for him crossing the line. Unbelievable job. Great race to everyone. That was something else, guys. What a race, honestly. I had a great time watching this. I'm usually driving, so like this is just amazing, dude. So, your top 3 are Jeffrey Lawler, Marcus Keller, and Eugenio Villarreal. Wow, that was crazy, guys. Honestly, just crazy stuff. Super glad you tuned into all that with me, too. Let's see if I can bring up the results here, because that was just wild. In P1, we have Jeffrey Lawler, and in P2, we have Marcus Keller. P3, Eugenio Villarreal. P4, Alec Hinchcliffe. P5, Pablo Valenzuela. P6, Samuel Ray. P7, Philip Allen. P8, Willie Atkinson. P9, Willies Gomez. P10, Ethan Turner. P11, Mario Diavolo. P12, Jesus Marcarbel. P13, Jasper Van Grothes. P14, Harry Krantz. P15, Leon Flukiger. And P16, Aaron Full. That is our final, lineup or results for this. So I'm going to bring up Jeffrey Lawler for an interview and see how he felt about that race. So give me 1 second here and I'll pull him up. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
Man, that was intense. I saw that incident right at the beginning of the race there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was so confused, but honestly, great job, man. Like, I expected nothing less. You just charge up the field, but I was looking at your softs like midway through the race, and those front laps were just battered. How was it on track?
It didn't make sense because when I pitted, they were front left was 35% and the rear left was 34%, but I was still doing 13s, and it did not feel bad.
I was thinking that too. It was crazy because I just saw the state of them on the feed, but like you were still banging out such quick laps. So, did you change tires when you pit too? Because I think you started on mediums, right?
Yeah, so I went to softs, thinking, if I had to change my front wing because it was broken.
Okay.
But I was like, well, I might as well. I could either take hards to the end, but I'm like, I think that's kind of boring. So I just took the soft, and then probably 6 laps in, I was like, okay, I might have fucked up here because I don't know if these softs are gonna work. But the fuel started to drop off, and then they didn't really lose pace. At least not because of the fuel. But
No, for sure. And honestly, like, did you feel like the degradation was that bad? Because, you said you were still hitting 113s, but was it getting squirrely at some points, like out of the, hairpin, anything like that?
yeah, there's a few laps, probably 10 laps in, where I started to lose grip. I don't know if it was maybe it was from wear, but there was a few times in the hairpin, and I think it was on the exit of turn 12.
Right.
There's just a few times where we were trying to snap, but then you just hold on to it and the fuel went away, and then it just brought the tires back. So it ended up working out. They also had they were battling up front. I think Ethan spun at one point, so things just kind of helped on its own.
Yeah, no, they had a great battle up front for quite a few laps. And in terms of setup, were you running a low downforce, medium? I know you were catching them pretty quick, especially in Parabolica.
It was high downforce, pretty high.
High, yeah.
Definitely a lot more gurney and wing angle than Fuji, just because there's not really. It's kind of similar to Fuji, but there's not much low speed around here. But it seemed to work out. I don't think the straight line speed was too different to anybody else.
No, it looked pretty rapid on Parabolica. You were gaining quite a lot of speed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
awesome, man. it's it's a great result, and it was super fun watching you just barrel your way up the field. Any shout outs you want to make? Any any comments?
I mean, the one comment I had is, so on the start, I looked in the mirror and I saw Leon was not going anywhere, and I
I
just
saw
kept
that
looking
too.
at him. And then I get to turn one, and I'm just like thinking about Leon, and I just kept my foot flat, and then immediately spun. Um, so a bit of a distraction there. So if it was tactical from Leon, it worked, but he actually ended up having his shifter wasn't working, and then he got it
Oh,
working, and then he realized he didn't even have enough fuel to finish the race anyway, so he parked it.
ah, geez, that's unfortunate. But again,
Yeah.
man, awesome race, and it was super fun to watch. Congrats again on P1. This is your 11th win, I believe. So excited to see what you have for the rest of the season. But great job, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, two stop for the win. Make it interesting, and shout out to you and Alec and everyone else running the league. Appreciate it.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Marcus Keller. Can you hear me, Marcus?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Home track, P2. How do you feel about it, man? You had such great battles with Ethan, and honestly, it was super fun to watch you both. How'd you feel about the race? How was, tire wear? Uh, how difficult was it?
Yeah, it was only my second race with this car at all, and I'm still figuring out how to use the MGUK mode and how to keep the tires alive. I chose with the hard tires this time because the mediums got too hot and have high wear. But I think the mediums would have also had last. And then we all know what happened at the start.
Yeah,
So
it was crazy.
yeah, really behind me only carnage. Yeah, I was second behind Ethan, and we had good battles. He was a bit too aggressive, I think. He cost us a lot of time against Jeffrey, but Jeffrey is so fast as always that he would have won anyway, so all good. Only shame was the crash at the end. I don't know if you saw that.
I did, and honestly, I reviewed it a few times, but well, in my head actually, but yeah, no, it was super unfortunate what happened. I think he was trying to make a late move into the braking zone. I don't think either of you were kind of expecting that outcome, so it was just unfortunate, in my opinion. But we'll see what the stewards think. But regardless of that happening, you drove a fantastic race, man, and like honestly, for the second time in the car, you had massive pace.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, so it was really great. And I noticed in Sector 3, that's where Turner was gaining more time on you. So he was pulling out a little bit from you there. So do you feel like the hards were just a little bit like they weren't fired up at that point? Or, did you notice any big difference in Sector 3?
He was more aggressive in the last two corners. I was always struggling with that. I don't think that it's due to the tires, but you have to be quite at the edge, and if you just get a little bit over the edge, then you are on the sausage curb and on the track strip, and then you do what Hülkenberg did in 2019. So I try to keep it safe there and just make it. I still think that I was too cautious because I spun a lot in practice, and I just wanted to make it to the end. So yeah, I'm happy with my pace considering that, and I hope it will not be my last podium.
Definitely not, man. You have some massive pace, so I'm excited what you do in the future. But again, great race, man. Great result, P2. Any shout outs or anything you want to make, we'll give you the floor.
Shout out to Alec for the setup. It was really nice to drive, and such a shame that he ran out of fuel at the end.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna talk to him after. But yeah, thank you so much, man. I'll move you back into the other channel, and I'll pull up Eugenio for the last podium position.
Thanks. See you next time.
See ya. Eugenio, bro. Oh my god.
Hello?
Last lap carnage, dude. Oh my word.
Yeah,
That was crazy. P3,
yeah.
man, how do you feel? How was the race? I saw you got caught up in that. Actually, no. Were you caught up in the first lap shenanigans or?
No. What happened to me was I tried to get Turner. We kind of had a little touch in the hairpin, and I hurt
Oh
the
yes.
front wing. So
Okay,
I
I
went
saw
to
that.
pits. Yeah.
So you
But I
did
mean,
get front wing damage from that.
yes, I did. So I stayed out
Ah.
for like a lap or two, trying to figure it out how his feelings, and it didn't feel good. So I was like, yeah, you know. And then I exceeded pit limit. I got a
Oh
40-second.
no, you didn't, bro. I was wondering why you
So
were there for so long. I'm like, dude, what's this guy doing?
yeah, that's why I was taking a long time, and I was like, well, we're here. And I had the hearts on, which that's the thing that hurt the most. So I had to go into the medium. So um, I was scared I was gonna get like a meatball flag at the very end.
Honestly,
Poor
that's
tire
fair,
wear.
man. That's fair, but honestly, like, because you swapped to the mediums probably like, what was it, like about 30 something laps in, and then you rode those mediums till the end, right?
Yeah, I pitted in lap 6. I just checked it
Six.
out
Oh
in
my
garage 61. Yeah.
god, dude. And wait, you
So
had
those,
those mediums since lap 6?
yeah, those
Oh
mediums
my
in lap
god.
6.
That is wild. Because, dude, like, your pace on those mediums after that long was insane. So, like, you know, talk about tire saving. Like, were you just tire saving the whole time, or were you pushing? What's up?
um, I don't even know because that's weird. I was just looking at most of the time at my temperatures, trying to keep them like at 120
Yeah,
and below, and I was not trying to push completely, but at least do the same lap time consistently.
right.
And at the very end, I feel like the mediums came really, really, really alive. I don't know if you could tell.
Dude, yeah,
Uh,
I, like, honestly, like, with the last few laps, you were, like, at least 4 tenths quicker than Alec at certain areas. And I think that's just the
yeah.
lighter fuel load as well. And, those mediums were just in a super good window, like you said, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that was honestly great drive, man. My heart broke for Alec a little bit, but I was super excited to see you come up to P3 because I think you were down in P10 after your, um,
A
you
little
know,
touch, yeah.
exactly. I looked at this item like, oh, that doesn't look like too much damage. I didn't expect it, but I felt for you then, man. But honestly, great result. P3 feels good. Any shout outs you want
Yeah.
to make?
Uh, to you, obviously the staff for making the league possible. Um, I think yeah, that's that's a shout out, I guess.
That's fair, man. Well, hopefully it's not your last podium. Still 2 more races to go, so I'm excited to see what you could do. Qualified really well in this one, and I imagine you're going to qualify super well in the next ones too. But great result, man. Really appreciate it,
Thanks a
and
lot.
yeah, have a good one.
Will do. You as well, man.
Thank you. And there you have it, folks. That's the interview for the top 3. I hope you had a fantastic time watching. Again, I just started broadcasting, so I don't know what I'm doing fully yet, but hopefully the next 2 are going to be a little bit better in production quality, and they're actually going to be live this time. So thank you so much for tuning in, and really appreciate you guys. Have a good one.